That's really loud.
It looks like it's kind of been being. The other one looks just, I think what you see something, it looks like it's being used, and the other one, it just looks like it's just a back. All these are just- Kind of fun. I think maybe they're being used by like kids.
Look at you, what you got there? Arctic vibes.
One of my clients gave me like 6 cases.
Oh my God. I love how his eyes are wide open. For like 6 cases, they come in a day. Ole.
No, he works for them, so for the Coachella Fest.
Oh.
He's like, dude, he's like, no one likes these. I'm like, "Great,
Like,
I'll take
I'm like, Audrey,
I can afford free.
My wife loves them,
Oh,
and that makes me, I get to save a couple bucks. I don't have to buy the red ones. And they're just getting too expensive. It's like a cup of coffee now.
Yeah.
Cup of coffee on my
How can add up on you?
But the thing is, like, I'm already like, most time my wife. My morning starts with 5-shot espressos. Every morning,
What? What did you say?
Wow.
5-shot espresso,
What?
and it still doesn't do anything.
Oh my God.
Ándale. Oh, no.
That's why my mom was
What?
mad. She's like, "I can't stop."
Ooh, that's a lot of caffeine.
That's what happens is like, it's tomorrow. That happens when you work. a lot.
Yeah.
Are
Just,
we ready
are
to
we good
start?
to go?
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. So, I'm sorry, okay,
And all mics are on? Their mics are on?
okay.
Okay, you're good.
All right, well, thank you everyone for coming to April 18th, 2023 Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. We will start our meeting at what, 4:30, right? I have to do this?
Right on time.
Do I have to do this?
No.
All right, so I'm getting a little thrown off here. Call to order at 4:30. Will you please stand and we can honor our flag? Please place your hand over your heart and begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please bear with me, I am getting over nights. So
Everyone's getting sick.
everyone's getting over some kind of cough, right? Coachella cough, allergy cough, regular cough. Okay, so can we start with the roll call?
Sure. Commissioner Avila,
Here,
Commissioner Ayala, Commissioner Rodriguez,
Here,
Commissioner Figueroa.
here.
perfect. And did everyone have a chance to review the agenda? At this time, the commission may announce any items to be pulled from the agenda or continue to another date or request a moving an item on the agenda. Are there any changes or any items that would like to get moved
No.
on the agenda?
Staff would be requesting to pull item number 3. And I will give an update during my Public Works Director comments, but the reason for the request to remove it is that the The subleasee did come in and make a payment arrangement, and did agree to the payment plan.
Okay, so we're removing item 3.
Yes,
Perfect. Okay, can I get a approval of a motion to approve the agenda with the removal of item 3?
Motion.
Okay.
I second.
Okay. Do I have to do all those in favor?
yes.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. Okay, agenda has been approved. And we have the minutes of, what are our minutes, our minute dates? Do we have minutes on here?
We didn't have a meeting. for our last-
We have not had a meeting, so there are no minutes to approve. So moving on to presentations. New business, we'll go ahead and start. Maritza, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. The item before you this evening is to just wanted to bring back the park user fee discussion. This is an item that was last visited, actually 1 year ago, the month of April. And at that time, council did agree to reduce the park use fee to 0. So currently, we're not collecting a park use fee for any park use permits. At this time, we're bringing it back. The intention at that time by the council. Can you toggle me to the next slide, please, Jason? Maybe. Sorry. Thank you. The intention to approve the 0 use fee at about a year ago was really with the intent to allow the youth sports leagues to reduce their registration fees to basically to our Coachella youth, right? At this time, I believe in what we've received back from the 4 leagues that we have. So we have 2 soccer leagues, 1 baseball league, and 1 American football league. Only one of them has done a reduction in their registration fees for the youth. All the rest have either kept it the same or actually increased their registration fee. So with that in mind, wanted to kind of go through what our user fee schedule is. It is a fee schedule that was adopted in 2011. And currently staff's recommendation is to go back to that fee schedule. And based on the fact that everyone is charging either increased registration fees, and the savings as a result of the no park use fee was really not passed down to the resident and to the youth. So if the commission is agreeable that what the fee schedule that was adopted in 2011 would allow the city to charge up to would be an $8 per hour use fee per field per hour, and an $18 per hour per field use fee for when they also requested sports lighting. So total would be 26 per hour if the field and lights were needed at the same time. Some of the other fees listed there would be for park usage. So if we had a special event come through or another user wanted to reserve a section of the park, it would be $31.50 per hour. For the stage, we really only have one stage area, which is the one at Veterans Park. Sometimes we do identify another stage area at Bagduma Park, which is a very large shade structure, probably 15 years ago used to be basketball courts. That might be something that would qualify for a stage reservation area, $1.7 per day. And really, we very rarely use the sports diamond. That's if we actually prep the field for someone. Most of the users that we have prep their own fields. And then the snack bar is $187 per season per league. It's a really good fee setup. We provided this to the commission, I think just in summary last time. We didn't officially meet, but we did provide the summary information. And comparatively, you can see that the city of Coachella's rates are very competitive and actually the lowest in the valley. For field use, ranges from Palm Springs, which is $54 per hour. Palm Desert's $30, La Quinta's $25. Indio has a day permit, which is about $100 a day. Desert Rec is 15 per hour. And Coachella again, 8 per hour is the 100% recap of the current fee schedule that's adopted in 2011. The field lighting in Palm Springs is 34 an hour. GHS, it varies, but is $50 for a regular permit if it's not a nonprofit. Palm Desert, 30 per hour. La Quinta, 15. Indio doesn't have specifically for field lighting. They have the day permit, and DRD has 30 per hour, and we are 18. And because the field, just to give a little bit of background regarding fee use schedule. So we do a study, the cities do a study, and that's what they base their fee use schedule on, and we cannot charge more than what that fee schedule allows. It was done in 2011, so at some point in the future, we probably need to update it, but that would be the max that we can recover right now, would be the 8 and the 18. This slide is really focused at just bringing back information about what kind of free days we have basically available to the community and to the leagues. So the community field use days are days that we turn on lighting at the park for free. And we do allow reservations by the leagues on these days. If they reserve it, we do allow them to use that. But if they don't reserve it, then it's first come, first serve. At Bagduma Park, those days are Mondays and Wednesdays, excluding field 3 and 4, Fridays and Saturdays, all fields. And at Las Flores Park, it's Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. In addition to the community use days, when the no fee schedule went into place in around April, May of last year, the commission and the council wanted to make sure that there were fields and days which those fields would be available to first come, first serve and not rentable, so that they couldn't be set aside by anyone. And they would be available for pickup games or scrimmages by just anyone that wanted to come over. And so these at Bagduma Park, Fridays, field 4 was set aside, Saturdays and Sundays, field 4 was set aside after 2. And at Rancho Las Flores Park, Wednesdays was set aside field 1, Saturdays and Sundays was after 2, field 1 was set aside. So just wanted to bring this back and make sure if there's any changes that might be recommended by the commission on that item. I think we spoke on it a little bit last meeting, and overall feedback was that it was still something that the commission wanted to keep moving forward. I would recommend that possibly changing the Bagduma Park field 4 to field 3, just because on Saturdays and Sundays, sometimes we do get some certain games that want to be played, and when we can't permit use on field 4 after 2, then it limits that ability for that to get used in that way. Whereas field 3 doesn't have the stadium seating. Field 4 is the one that has the concrete bleachers and tends to be the one that's preferred for those types of kind of like, I guess spectator and finals type of games.
So it'd be just switching 3 to 4.
That would be a recommendation as we do see it would, if the commission is supportive of that. If not, then we will keep it as is. But it does prohibit us from permitting any use on field 4 on those days. After 2, on Saturdays and Sundays, and on Fridays, the whole day. And with that, that does conclude my presentation on this item. I'm happy to answer any questions. And on this item, we would be looking for a recommendation by the commission. It'll go to council next.
Does anyone have any questions or comments?
No.
I know my main concern when this first came is how, I know that the city and the councils can't kind of regulate on making sure that the leagues are reducing their fees and kind of not adding an additional burden to our residents and paying fees, and hearing that now they're increased or none of them have been reduced. It is a little disappointing that the fees were extremely reduced and removed and nothing was done for the league. So I would recommend that the fees go back in place. They are very low fees. If it's not saving the residents anything, I don't see what the point is, really.
Yeah, I agree. Just due to the fact that as well, we didn't see any really, well, I think one league did. do
One league did.
Right? So, I mean, I feel like even if we keep it like to the no fees, the other league's gonna, keep going that route. If there's an increase, they're gonna do it regardless if
Mhm.
we, kind of say, what, let's just keep it as, not the fees. They're gonna increase it regardless at one point. So might as well just go back to what it was. And also the really low fees compared to the rest of the cities, they're really low rates.
Yeah.
I think we should go with this.
And
Okay.
can the commission do a motion on the item?
Sure, I'll motion to move forward with, I guess, returning back to the fee-based model.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
I,
Aye. All those opposed, nay. Okay. Motion has been carried then. The next is a update on the 2022 Coachella Parks and Recreation Foundation activity.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. And this item is really more of a receive and file, but wanted to bring it up to the commission and then it'll go for receive and file to the council. We do need to come to you once a year for the foundation to give you just a report of the activity. And the only activity we really have through the foundation is the scholarship program that we have. And put it back up. Thank you. And in 2022, we issued 32 applications. The way that the scholarship program works, it is a reimbursement based. And the only qualifiers for the program is that the youth, it is a youth member, so it would be somebody that is 18 or younger that would qualify, and they can apply once a year. And the program pays up to $75, 50% of their program amount. So if the program amount was 150, then we would pay them 75 of that amount. And then currently, I think we did also provide you the breakdown of the 32 scholarships that were approved. And you'll see that before you with primarily 3 organizations, DRD, Little Arabs, and our Youth Baseball and Softball Association. We still have a healthy fund balance in this, in the foundation, so we can definitely do quite a number more of scholarships. So the program is still healthy. And with that, that is my update regards to the activity through the foundation. Concludes my presentation.
And just to confirm, all the leagues are aware that there is a scholarship available, right?
We remind them of it several times a year, specifically right before they go into their season. So
Okay.
they can share that with their parents and the registration process.
Perfect.
Is this one too? I can't remember if I even asked, for the soccer leagues as well too, or?
Yes,
Yeah,
all-
and anything that has to do with.
Any of our youth sports leagues, and any programming that is a partnership with the city, basically. That's why Desert Recreation District's programs out of the community center and our parks would all be eligible.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
And it's a really simple application that gets completed, they fill it out, they attach the receipt and then turn it in, so.
So they just have to pay it and then they get the reimbursement,
Mhm.
right?
Yes, and we usually are able to process it, usually 2 to 3 weeks. Been pretty good turnaround.
first come, first serve.
First come, first serve, but really the only, I think the only kind of benchmark that's kind of bracketed is that we have set it to 20 per organization per year, so that like all the funds aren't used up by one organization.
Spread it.
But we haven't come into like a max out of that. Usually you see the numbers there, they're still below 20. And if we needed to, we'll bring that back if that becomes a challenge.
And this is calendar year, right?
Calendar year,
So an individual can request it once every calendar. year.
once every calendar year.
Okay, perfect. Is there any questions or any additional comments on this?
You said like the city does kind of announce it a lot, right? And they're still not taking advantage of some of the stuff.
Yeah, we mention it to each of our youth leagues right before their registration process. So we always meet with them a couple weeks before their season starts. And we make this available to them each time. So that's usually the big time that we remind them, but we usually do it at least twice a year, honestly.
Do we use social media for this as well too?
We have,
Yeah, okay.
yes, we have. We don't probably do it like every month, but we do it a
Yeah,
couple.
at least when it's the season for.
Yes,
It's just a matter of people filling out the application. I mean, if they don't fill it out and don't turn it in. I know we, for Desert Rec, whenever we do our camp scholarships, it's attached to the whole application. So every person receives it. It's a matter of them
Exactly.
completing it and filling out. But I think we can definitely do a good job at promoting it and letting our families know. I mean, the leagues are aware of it too.
They're in Spanish as well too, right?
Mhm.
They are. And it's on the website as well. So if you go to Public Works, Parks and Rec Foundation populates on the left there, and we have the application in English and Spanish.
Yeah, because I posted on one of my posts and I had a lot of people ask me, age for, the folklorico and all that as well too. So I told them I'll give feedback. So I did redirect them, just easier, just go down to the website and, you'll find a little bit more information. And I think it's while you're out your office, phone number set, right? Or no?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
our contact number is on there and then the website's on there as well.
Yeah, so-
And then they could drop by at the Duma Center and get information as well. Okay, another questions, comments, or concern on this?
No.
I just think as the word of mouth and as information is spread, hopefully we'll get more people to apply for scholarships. It's a good advantage for our residents. Okay, so we'll move on to public comments. The public may address the commission on any item of interest to the public that is not on the agenda, but is within the subject matter jurisdiction thereof. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Do we have any public comment?
We do have one public comment, Ms. Jasmine Seha.
Jasmine Seha. That's okay. It's just
My name is Jasmine Seha. I'm a resident here in Coachella. My kids play for CYSA.
Excuse me, please speak in the microphone.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
And I was saying, my kids play for CYSA and they've been playing for a few seasons, but it's been very disappointing. And I was kind of heartbroken to hear that the family fee or the fees are gonna increase, meaning it's only gonna be affecting a lot of more families that can't do the application or pay for those fees. I just don't think it's fair for the families. I know you guys have to increase it on your end because some of the leagues are not following their rules or whatever they said they were gonna do. I feel that there should be a stricter regulation put on them instead of the city charging again or changing the whole board, the whole league. Because I just feel that we need, in order for us to make a change, it needs to be a change for that league, because that league is not helping the community. It's only going to be affecting those families que no pueden pagar for the application fees. I don't think that they're putting their end to it. So I think there should be regulations on them. Because at the end of the day, I just feel that a lot of the soccer players are leaving to another league because that league is not doing what they're supposed to do, especially CYSA. I think there really has to be a change in that. Because my kids love to play soccer here in Coachella. It's a lot easier because I live right here. It's a 5-minute drive to the parque. But because it's so disorganized, now we have to look to go to another league. And I think it's so unfair for us. Therefore, I think there should be a change on the board. I hope you guys don't increase the fees. But I think there should be stricter rules on that board itself, on the league board members. And for scholarship, I had no idea about scholarship. I use social media a lot. And I also share social media. So if you guys do share on social media, we'll share it. But I did like how you said that you can put it on the application, because I had a team last summer with Alma, and I had no information about, hey, if there's scholarships available. If I did know, we would have informed our families, porque hay muchas familias que no pueden, they struggle just to pay the $45, plus the ref fees, plus the uniform, plus the socks. So I think it'd be a lot easier if there was just one fee, because we have to pay every single time we have a game. And it's Tuesdays, it's Thursdays, it's Sundays. And I think it's not feasible for many. So I do think there has to be a change. I hope you don't increase the fees on them. I just hope there's more stricter rules on the league itself, or just change the board members completely to make it for the families, to make it for the community, not for them. Because I feel that's what it is. It's about the board, and they don't focus about every single team or student or player. Sorry. So I hope there's a change. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Yasmin. Does anyone want to comment or respond to any of them?
Yeah, I feel like, if they weren't paying, they should have lowered it at the time. They weren't, right? That was the case why they changed it, why they removed it.
That was council's intent.
Yes.
But I guess in my comments, I can give some more feedback
Okay.
on that item.
Okay.
So I'll just comment. We're allowed to comment back if we feel, or should we?
During
wait
your
until the
comments.
Okay,
During
So,
council, commission comments.
sorry. Okay, so we will, I'll address some comments in my comments. Is there any, so we'll move forward. Is there any other public comments?
There is none.
Okay. No,
It's okay.
it's okay. So he's gonna fill out for, okay.
I'm one of the fathers of the kids that go like right there, and I'm pretty sure it's been
I'm
brought
sorry,
up.
can you state your?
Cesar Wasano.
Cesar Lozano, okay. Go ahead, Cesar.
And I've just had a couple comments, going back to what she was saying, even, I don't even know if it's the right place, but even restrooms closer to the soccer parks in Paduma. I've known, we've heard that, whoever is the commissioner for the soccer league, I believe they haven't been doing their job, and that's been taking a really big toll on our part and our kids. Just like she said, we really like playing in Baduma in the Coachella League, and it's just really, it's getting harder on us that we are gonna have to start moving. And, you know, we like being in Coachella, we live in Coachella, we are from Coachella. So, that's one of the things, and I mean, I think it's really unacceptable that they haven't been giving any, ¿cómo se dice? Que ellos paguen fees. But for us, we've been getting charged every single time. We get charged for everything and there's nothing being done. Nunca hace nada. We keep asking them to do something. Their pressure's off. But at the same time, they just keep finding us. Nos hacen fine de todo. Nos quieren cobrar de todo. Can I speak Spanish?
Mhm.
Nos quieren cobrar de todo. And I just don't think it's right. I don't think it's right because, something that's supposed to be fun for us, for the kids, for the families, because it's the whole family thing. All our kids go and como que te desahoga, like you don't want to do it anymore. And I don't think it's fair. I think something should be done. I don't know if it's up to you guys or who is it up to, that they should look into it and see what is being done. Because si no le han estado cobrando, entonces ¿qué ha estado haciendo con todo ese dinero? I mean, it's that simple. ¿Qué se está haciendo? And if they could show us, oh, well, you know what, this is what's been being done, then you know what, I'm all for it, then you guys are doing your job. But at the moment, nothing's being done. Nadie nos está escuchando, so, you know, hopefully you guys can help us out.
Thank you.
Thank
Cesar.
you.
Thank you.
I have another speaker card from Mr. Placencia.
Okay, my name is Julio Placencia. My clubs, I'm one of the coaches that has a club in CISAS. My club is Desert Boys. And one of my concerns I wanted to come to this meeting too is because you guys are talking about the leagues today. And I wanted to give an opinion on myself. Even these parents are on my club with their kids. My concern was that the last time that you guys did that for CISA about reducing the league fees and everything was to help all the families in the league. We came over here and help her to show us our support. And after that, I think pandemic came up, and after that, the whole year it changed. I came back after a pandemic. She gave us a meeting. She talked about the reduces of the fees of Coachella to about the parks and the lights and everything, that it came to zero. They wasn't going to be charged. But simply she told us that she was still going to charge the same amount of money that we were paying already, but for the benefit of the kids. That supposedly the kids were going to get better trophies, better medals, better things when they win finals or semifinals, things like that. But it didn't happen. The same medals and the same trophies are the same that we've been getting since all the years I've been coaching. So I've been coaching for 7 years on that league. We get tired of it. These couple times, there haven't been she has a league rules, coaches, board members and league referees, and right now our problem is that she has those rules and she's not following them, and she's giving us our citations because we just yell something to the ref because they're not doing their job. And they put a report in, and they don't show us why they put the report, things like that are happening in there. And especially with the fees that we're paying the refs and all that, our kids are not safe because there was a parent that went in the field, tried to fight the ref. The ref took him out right away. We had to pull the kids out. And they didn't got a fine. Supposedly there's a fine for people that steps inside doing that. A fine of a red card with a citation of like $200. That's what the citation that she does. If somebody does that, something like that, and then they lose the game, they did nothing. They gave us a citation of not having parents show up for 2 games to see their kids play, and they have the same thing, but they wasn't going to get it. So there's a couple of those points that I don't know if you guys are supposed to know all this and she's supposed to talk to you guys about everything that happens in the league. But it sounds like she haven't, or the board just haven't talked to you guys about that. But it's not fair that we're gonna have to move from the league because our kids are not safe. We're paying a lot of money for the kids. Some parents cannot afford because they have 3, 4, 5 kids on the league. They cannot afford to pay $45 a player. So I just want to know that I have a lot of proofs that the league is not running the right way they're supposed to, and it's so bad that we have to look for another league. But I don't know how the other leagues are, because we've been with this one for a long time. So I know if you guys can do some changes in that board inside the CISA league. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any other public comments?
I don't have any additional cards, Madam Vice Chair.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we'll move on to reports and requests, and we'll start with commissioner comments. I'll go ahead and start just to comment on our public comment. Thank you for sharing the information, everyone, and just making us aware of some of your concerns and issues with the league. I do want to make clear that the recommendation is not to increase the fees of the leagues, it's to return back to the fees of the fields. So I do want to make sure that that's clear. It is concerning that fees have not been reduced, and hearing that so many fees are getting tagged on for the families. Unfortunately, we cannot regulate on certain aspects of how the league is facilitating some of the fees or program costs. We will only be able to know what's getting reported to us. In regards to not being aware of the scholarships, that's very unfortunate, but like we mentioned here, there are scholarships available, and we would love for families to take advantage of the scholarships and being able to have some savings as well on that. I think at this point, I would like to maybe ask Maritza, if you can please share with the league some of the concerns that were brought here to them, and see maybe how we can work with CISA and see if there's anything that we can help and help alleviate some frustrations for families, or maybe get some clarity on, why certain citations are given and why, some fees are collected, some are not, or the consistency is there. So maybe you can share with the comments that were shared here with Ali. Those are my comments for that.
I just had a question. Are you referring to Alma, CYSA? Alma, that's who you all. Okay.
Does anyone else have any comments or questions or?
Well, going back to that, it's that honestly, I'm after talking to some people and from the League of CISA, and honestly, it doesn't look like it's a nonprofit. It looks like it's a profit. It's a business. As I don't see it as a nonprofit anymore, due to the fact that I did speak out to a lot of players and like kids that have the team, and honestly told them we're not charging the fees for this and this. I know the other league isn't, but they are. And then they're like, oh, well, there's this fee of this fee of this fee. So just, I made a quick math and it had up to $1,000 right away, really fast. And then for them not helping our community back, maybe even the fields, just looking at the other fields that we had. I mean, those are the sub, but regardless, it looks like it's more of a business than actually just, nonprofit, and it's not for the kids or who's gaining the most money out of this. I think we do keep the records, right, of like their taxes and things like that, right? Or
They are required to have a nonprofit number.
nonprofit, right? So
But they are not required to turn in their tax returns anymore, right?
We have not since the pandemic, but we can bring that back. That is still in the MOU and we can revisit that, but the only thing I want to just restate is that what is documented is what's getting reported, right?
Yeah.
So we can do the audit again, but it is going to be based on whatever populates on the transactions as requested.
I think just to, I'm sorry to cut you off, but just because it brings a point to me. My question has always been, what are the fees that are being charged, right? Like
And-
what, like as a parent, if my child wanted to participate, I would like to know, like, what is this fee? Is it a monthly fee? Is it a program fee? On top of that fee, what other fees am I expected to pay? Is there uniform costs? Is there, if it's a travel team? So, maybe perhaps if that's something we can request, just information. And maybe it might be something to request for all the leagues, like what are the program fees that we're looking at? So if we're talking to other, people, we are able to kind of explain like, oh, for football, it's roughly, this is the fee for their season or whatever it is.
And maybe what we can do is, as I heard the comments from the public and I'm hearing the comments back from the commissioners, is we can invite the two soccer leagues to our next meeting and have them provide those updates directly. Because at the end of the day, those two organizations, they're not governed by the city. The city only provides them the facility. So they are independent organizations and they have their own bylaws. And those bylaws govern their operations. And we don't have the ability to do anything outside of removing the facility or providing the facility, right? That really is the only component that the city manages with respect to those organizations.
You mentioned audit. Can.
We have done audits on them before and there has been improvement in their record keeping through that process. So we can return that process back and look at that again as we move into, usually it's around this time that we send out those notices anyhow. We did kind of take a hiatus during the COVID period because there was they weren't on the fields because we had closed down for a period of time. So we can return that practice.
yeah, 'cause to my understanding, honestly, we don't have any control over CISA at all. That's their own thing because it's.
They're their own
Their
organization.
own organization, so they do it. So that's something that I always like to emphasize, that we don't have any control. We can manage certain things for sure. It's just we can't give, hey, Tom, you need to do this, you need to do that. I know for sure we can't do that. You're gonna talk about number 3 on the new business, right?
No.
Yes.
So,
Oh,
I was gonna leave an
Yeah.
update.
so like, and then we can comment on that as well?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So then I'll go
Or-
back up to that. Or unless you want me to comment now.
Whichever way you prefer.
Everyone,
Yeah, because, well, I could do it now just because I'll probably forget. I'm seeing that, the fees that, like I said, I did make some calls, I talked to some people. And I don't see how they got really behind on the fields on 53, right? Yeah, 53. So they got really behind, and after hearing there's all these fees, I know they made a payment now catching up, but honestly, how long did it take? Like, how many times have we had to knock at that door to get, an answer back? And if we did make an agreement back, they can't get behind anymore. That's my suggestion. Otherwise, I will actually recommend for even a termination of CISA, maybe because doesn't look like it's benefiting the players, it's not benefiting the city, as in now it's more work for you guys, which adds everything else. And then the kids, it looks like they're not really the kids are having fun, but it's costing the parents a lot more money than anything else. I remember playing back in the day, it was already expensive, but now it's like I'm seeing, 45 is then you got the, your uniforms, and then you got fees of now what I'm hearing is that if a parent gets in the field, that's like a $200. That's hefty, especially for the team, because I don't think the parents gonna be like, oh, here's my 200. No, that comes out of the team's pocket, which is if they got 22 players, it comes out of the 22 players. So it's one of those that if it's getting to that point where at one point I will recommend, for terminating of CISA and maybe more opportunity for other leagues to come and improve our soccer leagues. Because there is maybe a lot more soccer leagues that are interested in Coachella, because I think we have the most fields out of any other city.
Yeah.
And then if they could keep, maintenance really well on those fields, we will have a better outcome on the field. We will have more people coming to Coachella, because I think that's what we want, because it does good for the city and it does good for the businesses around the city.
Thank
I
you.
agree.
Any other comments?
No, I
Commissioner
agree totally. Since I've been with the commission, it's been an ongoing thing with that. Yeah. Before COVID.
Okay, so we'll move on to any other comments outside of the responsive public comments from the commission, sorry. Okay. So we'll move on to Marisa, if you have any comments and
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. The comment I wanted to provide was regarding the item number 3 that was removed from the calendar. Yesterday, we did meet with CISA president with regards to the amount that is owed to the city with regard to water billing, basically for the 2 fields that they are subleasing that are property of Armtech. Basically, the conversation was very simple. There were, some back and forth, but essentially it was a last chance agreement payment plan. So it took the amount owed, divided it by 17 months. And it's around, I want to say it's her payment. There was a payment that she made in the last week that reduced that 40,000 slightly, but essentially it's around 2,300 that she has to pay a month, in addition to the reconnection fee, which she paid yesterday, and in addition to her monthly consumption. So if she falters on monthly consumption being kept current or her payments, then it's shut off basically, and the item will come back just as it was written. With the recommendation from staff, I think would hold the same, is that we would recommend that the sublease with CISA be terminated if they are not able to sustain the billing, right? Because basically it is a $1 a year sublease agreement. So it's basically a free sublease for about 5.5 acres of land, which is 2 soccer fields. And their only responsibility is to maintain it and to pay the water billing on it. So either of those are not happening, it will result in a default. Currently, we also got a payment plan agreed to by CVSL because they had a different billing issue, if you recall. That was a result of staff error though. So they are also on a payment plan for 17 months. Their payments are a little lower, obviously, because they didn't quite rack that number quite up as much. But so both of them are currently compliant. The only thing is I did notice that the 2 fields that are being subleased by CVSL need some TLC, significant TLC. They are the 2 fields that are closer to the fence line that are on that property, and they need some love. So we did notify them via email yesterday and are awaiting their response on turnaround for that compliance. That is, I think, most of my update as it pertains to Avenue 53. Did I answer everyone's question on that item?
Yes.
Great. And then just wanted to provide an update. The restrooms at Bagduma Park were mentioned during public comment, and the city did set aside its community-based grant, community block grant program funding. So we do get an allocation every year, and this year they are constructing the basketball court rehabilitation. And the next project that follows that, I believe, is there is restroom. There is one that is allocation for restrooms, and then also the lighting. We have some lights that were removed from field 1 and 2 at Bagduma Park due to basically just age. They were no longer in good sound structure, so they were removed, and we have not been able to fund those replacements. About the new restroom is estimated at around 250 to 300,000, and the lighting improvements would be another 150,000. So those are both forthcoming and anticipated based on the city engineer. I think we're still looking at about a year out. Hopefully a little sooner. They are looking to possibly bid the lighting and the bathroom together. But we'll see how quickly that moves forward, and I'll keep the commission updated. But the allocation has at least already been promised and set aside for those improvements. Let me see if I have any more updates. Otherwise, the only thing I did want to mention is we do have, the city is issuing the keys to the city to Becky G on Saturday. So in case you are fans or interested, inviting you guys to the library park on Saturday at noon. Yep, just across the street.
Now, I have a question, because I know there's an issue with the restrooms. Now, are we able to if we're able to see, do an audit on CISA or as well the other, soccer league? If we're seeing that, they're not even paying a lot of the fees, I understand, well, the issue we had. With them adding a restroom, those portable restrooms, are they able to do anything like that in general, or is that something us, like the city, is able to work? Just because I know I hear there's always that, like, oh, the restrooms are pretty far away. That's one issue that I hear a lot. I haven't really been to those fields a lot, so I haven't really seen how much of this is, but I know there was something about the restrooms, that we have spoke about, and I think you said something about a year, right?
That's the estimate the city engineer has given us, that department is responsible for the construction of the projects and the deliverables thereof. But the reason portalets have not been permitted at those locations is because we have concerns with homeless using them and really locking themselves up and doing things that would probably not go hand in hand with youth programming. And there's also vandalism such as lighting them on fire, things like that go with that. Our ability to lock our permanent restrooms really curtails a lot of that activity in the restrooms. And in addition, when we procure those new restrooms, we'll make sure that the design is set up as not individual. Some of the restrooms that are by field 3 are really not super conducive to a public park in our operational experience, for the reason that they're all individuals, like door stalls. So people go in and lock themselves and then stay in there. And it doesn't keep that availability for the public. So we're keeping that in mind as we design the new location. Part of that is also we've relayed to the league that is also up to them to program their youth games closer to the restrooms. We have 6 fields at Begduma Park. There are restrooms by those fields. There's not restrooms by field 5 and 6. So if they would program their youth programming closer to where there are restrooms, that would kind of resolve that issue.
That brings up a good point. I know previously this has been brought up, and if I'm not mistaken, it was the league that came and brought that to our attention. And the recommendation was made to, excuse me, to program accordingly, right? Not to have the little ones out in that field, because obviously they would utilize the restroom more. So that has been a recommendation that has been made by the commission to the league. And just, you reiterating that again, that's something that could be brought to their attention to program accordingly, because it doesn't seem like if, from what I'm hearing is if portables are there's a lot of risk that takes in place, whether it's homeless or it may be more risk to the youth and the families to have a portable restroom there than to just switch out what age group we're programming there, right? So there is, I think there is a solution in place. It's just a matter of that solution being taken advantage of.
Then when is the new basketball courts, when are they going to be finished by?
They're slated to be finished May, June.
Okay.
And we will definitely be doing a ribbon cutting for that event, definitely inviting the commission and the public out to that.
Awesome.
Hopefully having some kind of a pickleball game or tournament thing that day. So our first pickleball court, we gotta celebrate.
That's
that,
awesome.
so.
I don't even know how to play that. We'll give it a shot.
That's why there's a court.
We'll give it a shot.
We'll definitely have programming available that you can sign up for.
And we gotta start training now.
Okay, is there any other comments okay, is there anything else that anyone would like to add on? No, okay, so.
Actually,
Oh, go
sorry,
ahead.
real quick one and fast one. I noticed that sometimes we do, as a city, we do have a lot of little events going in the parks. I mean, I would really love if we get involved maybe a little bit more, because sometimes we don't get any like notifications, hey, we're having this at this park. And being as the commissioners for the parks, I think it'll be great to let us know as well. I mean, of course, we're not gonna be able to attend all of them, but sometimes I know there was one going on the park that we have on 53 on that side. I think there was something going on there. I saw it through Facebook, and none of us, I never got an email. I mean, we had to look for it to find it, in other words. But I think if it's something that has to do with the parks, reaching out to us if we would like to attend, that'll be something great as well. Just due to the fact that we're here present and we would like to be more involved in the
Yeah.
city.
Put our eyes and ears on it.
Yeah. It's just getting more opinions as well from our community. That's something that will definitely, we'll appreciate it. I think if we get an email for that as well too.
Of course.
Good
Thank you.
suggestion. Anything else?
No.
You sure?
I think I'm done today.
Okay, so, do I need a motion to adjourn the meeting? No. Okay, we'll adjourn this meeting at 5:18. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We wanted to do it.